Um, I just wanted to set the record straight on why Harold Baines was elected to the Hall of Fame. Um, the old timers who elected him were the ones that elected him for a reason. He only got, from what I heard, 6% of the Hall of Fame vote. Uh, and looking at his stats here, I see he has 2,866 hits. Going from what I learned in the past, the old timers love 3,000 hits. To them, and I would certainly guess that every baseball player that has 3,000 hits is in the Hall of Fame. I can guarantee it. I don't think there's one that's not. And he is 134 hits away from 3,000, and that just shows that he didn't care about his stats, but he could have got 3,000 if he really wanted to, and I'm sure the old timers took that in consideration. Very humble guy, but the fact is he's so close to 3,000 that the old timers, probably couldn't help themselves. And then you look at more stats. Here he goes to 2001. All the way to 2001, he played until he was 41, played 42. Just very consistent, never led in any category except for slugging percentage one year. But again, the whole reason he made the Hall of Fame was because he almost got 3,000 hits. And that doesn't go unnoticed by the old timers. Throw in the fact that he almost had 400 home runs, and this would get him in. I think he would have never got in if he didn't have the such a close amount of hits. I would have to. I don't know what the answer is as far as, and if maybe somebody could put in the comments if any other Hall of Famer with that many hits has never been in. He may have, if anybody has more hits than 2,866 that's not in the Hall of Fame, I would be surprised. So it's not really a surprise that he's in. I think it's just kind of shocking because he has no real stats that stand out at you. Just very consistent. Basically a 300 hitter. Only made the All-Star time 6 times. Never came close to an MVP. Never apparently hit over 30 home runs. Just, again, played a long career and hit for a pretty decent average, which you have to do to get to 3,000 hits. Although he didn't quite make the 3,000 hit. 3,000 hits would have put him in the Hall of Fame the first time around. So 3,000 hits is automatic Hall of Fame. I mean, and that's just the way it is. So if people wonder why he's in the Hall of Fame, just say, hey, there's a humble guy who got close to 3,000 hits, and that's enough said. That's all the old timers need to know. Just a good all-around player. Had 34 stolen bases his whole career, which is pretty sad. But again, just a solid hitter, 300 hitter, 20 home runs guy. And again, nothing really stands out except for those, just so close to 3,000 hits that whether that's what he was playing for at the end of his career, because he only was in a few games, but I guess they had to finally say enough is enough when he batted 131 in 84 at-bats in 2001, his last year. But again, close is close enough. 134 hits away from 3,000. You got to give it to him. in this situation. The old timers do. I don't know if anybody else would, but again, there's no Hall of Famers. Nobody that has 3,000 hits is not going to be in the Hall of Fame. So in this case, in the world of Moneyball, this is a Moneyball type of player. You know, a guy, a stat kind of guy, a guy that, you know, you have a good guy in the lineup. You know, modern type of player. You know, was never into taking drug enhancing steroids. So again, he's got that plus going for him. Another reason why he made the Hall of Fame was because he wasn't, you know, one of the druggies with the steroids and all that, and you know, just a good person. So you know, who, you know, stayed clean and had a solid career. Nothing would have never made the Hall of Fame except for the fact he's knocking at the door at 3,000 hits. Nothing else in his stats would even, you know, say, you know, he should be in the Hall of Fame. The 384 home runs is a good number, but I don't, you know, not maybe not good enough to be in the Hall of Fame, but still, that's also a good number there. No, then there's literally, you know, nothing else that would have put him in the Hall of Fame other than that, because you know, the guys at DH had no real fielding. You know, the guy never did as good. He's his ninth as an MVP. So anyway, you know, if anybody's wondering why, it's because the old timers just they love 3,000 hits. The idea. Of course, Pete Rose didn't get in the all-time hit leader, but he's a bad guy. So they're like good guys. You can go down to the stats here further. 46th all-time in hits, and total bases 43rd. Doubles career 73rd. Run batted ins career 34th. That's not too bad, and that's a good stat. So he did have a lot of runs batted in. 58th all-time in singles. 34th all-time in sacrifice flies. So again, he has some decent offensive stats. Only 6 all-time All-Star appearances. You know, the glaring thing is, well, I mean, 65th all-time in home runs, doubles 73rd all-time, and so you got to give it to him that he's one of a solid offensive player, but without the hits, I think that would have been, I don't think, you know, he necessarily would have got in. So that's all I got to say about this.